What's going on, y'all? It's me, Shamar Lebreton. I'm back on this channel again today. Obviously, it's 2025. Happy New Year. Now, this time I haven't done it in the last few years, but I wanted to focus on this year and kind of bring out to kind of start this 2025. One, to show you guys what tools I'm using to create this content, but then two, also for myself, because I think this is the year and beyond where I want to improve the quality of my content. So I want to see what gear I was using before opposed to now. But nonetheless, before we even jump into the video, make sure to subscribe, make sure to like. Thank you so much if you have, and if you haven't, join the club. Now, if you saw the thumbnail and you saw the title, we are talking about camera gear. What camera gear am I using in 2025? Now, granted, some of it is old and some of it is new. So keep in mind that just because you have old gear doesn't mean that you can't create what the new creators are creating today. So starting off with the gear that you can't see. So starting off, I'm shooting with the 7D Mark II. That's right there. I don't know if you guys can see, it's a little far, but then I'm also shooting on top with the FeelWorld small HD monitor so that I can see myself. And then I kept the same tripod for years on end. I forgot the brand. I think that's Sunpack. Sunpack's tripod has helped me out a lot. It's kind of breaking down a little bit, so I do need to get a new tripod, but I still use that to this day. Then I have the light. It's the newer light. This is like very beginner, but this light still keeps me lit. And to be honest with you, I don't necessarily need a brand new light in order for me to see myself on camera. So it gets the job done, and I still have it to this day. And then the other gear that I don't have right now, but I'm not gonna pull out. I've talked about it before in this channel before. I use the motorized slider. I don't remember the name off the top of my head right now, but I think it's from GNV. I still use that slider to this day to get some quality footage. I've used it in the how to vlog content in the Mac, or like when I was talking about Apple, but I still use it to this day. It still gets the job done. It's still buttery smooth, and it's one of my favorite pieces of gear to use, especially since, you know, a lot of Hollywood movies use it, and it just brings a different quality to the video. Next up, I'm going to talk about the small things. We have my iPhone. I still have the 13 Pro Max. I know the 16 Pro Max came out. Doesn't necessarily need it. 13 Pro Max still gets the job done. A lot of my TikTok content is on there as well, which I use this. And then I also have another piece of gear that I use for my TikTok content, which is now the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Recently just did a video, so check that out. I'll leave it in the card up above as well. This camera is top tier. It alleviates a lot of storage from my iPhone storage. And then it also can shoot in 4K. For TikTok content, it's 3K at 60 frames. Shooting 3K footage, which is like super crispy. It also shoots in D-Log, so I'm able to vlog very smallly while also getting like top tier quality. So next up, I have the Sony ZV-1. This is a camera I still use for vlogging whenever the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is not working, or I just want something a little bit bigger. It also came with a Ulanzi light. It didn't come with it. I actually bought it as an accessory for the Sony ZV-1. This is for in low light setting situations where I don't want to bump up the ISO and the footage gets real grainy. Sony still did good, and I also attached a wide angle and macro lens to it, which I got it for Amazon for like 20 bucks. I don't remember the company that I got it from, but it does me justice just because the Sony ZV-1 by itself, the angle is like super close, so it's not really wide. So I wanted to attach a wide angle lens to this camera, which unfortunately with the Sony ZV-1 you can't unscrew or detach. You kind of have to add something to it. So but I still use this camera to this day. I've had this camera now for about 3 years. Has done a lot of vlogging footage for me, and it's still super small. It's not as small as the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, but it's still small enough to where you don't necessarily need a full, you know, setup. You literally can shoot with the mic that this camera comes with, and it still sounds good. Quick little setup for my vlogging, and then, you know, for sit down quality, for sit down, you know, YouTube videos, I'm using the 7D Mark II. Next up for the mic that I'm using, this is the Fifine AM8. I've recorded a video talking about this mic as well. I used to use the old microphone, but this microphone has done me justice. It sounds really good, and it's also for streaming, and you can also use it for video games as well. I also have the headphones from Fifine, and Fifine has been like a huge support of this channel, so shout out to Fifine. But this is the mic that I currently use for all my YouTube videos. You've seen it in a few ones now where, you know, the mic just sits down, but then you can also attach it to a C-stand. So mic is superb. I sound crispy. I sound good. I don't use the 7D Mark II's microphone anymore, or I don't attach one on the top. Obviously, I'm sitting down more and I have this, and when I'm walking outside or doing content moving wise, I'll use the Osmo Pocket 3 with the transmitter mic or I'll use the Sony ZV-1's mic by itself. Next up, for organization, I still use my journal. This has all of the content that I'm ever recording, so any video that's ever come out on this channel, I've probably written it down here before. I have not missed a video yet that hasn't been written down in that book. But then I also use my iPad if I want something electronic, or if I've, say for example, forgotten my book at home and I'm, you know, out recording, I also use my iPad just for organization and storage. Those two combos really help out well. A lot of content creators, some people know how to record on the fly. I don't necessarily know how to do that still, even though I don't necessarily use a script like in terms of talking points. But in terms of coming up with an idea, I'm very quick on knowing the idea and then losing it like 5 seconds later. So I have to write it down as soon as I saw it or think about it. And a lot of times I write in the journal because writing it down helps a little bit more to remember. But in case I don't have my book, or say for example I can't find a pen, my iPad kind of gets the job done. Next up, I'm currently using my MacBook Pro right now, but I also do use my fiance's MacBook Pro. She has the M2 Pro MacBook Pro. This laptop is a beast. I'm looking to upgrade to one myself, but that MacBook Pro, man, let me tell you, like, this MacBook Pro came out 2 years ago. To this day, it's still one of the best laptops I've ever used in my life, and I've used a lot. I've used HP, I've used Dell, I've used MacBooks, I've used the Intel MacBook, which I'm currently still using today. That MacBook Pro is like out of this world. You can see in the frame, this is my 2017 MacBook Pro. The M series MacBook Pros are elite, out of this world, and probably one of the best laptops to ever get. Just touch on a few small things. Before I even shoot anything, I always use the Pixel Perfect cards. I've learned about this, I don't remember where, but I saw a YouTube video where it kind of helps with color grading. This helps to get the colors accurate, so anytime I'm pressing record, I first start off by putting it on my face, and then eventually when I'm in post-production, I can kind of match the colors to where whatever color I want to do, it kind of matches up with this board, and it also helps out with skin tones. And yeah guys, I would say that's everything that I use to this day currently. I also use small things as well, but not as frequently, like the Ronin S, which is a gimbal that I use for kind of the more uppity footage. If I'm trying to shoot somebody that's walking by, or if I'm shooting fast content, I'll use the gimbal or the Ronin S. And then I also use certain stands for the Sony ZV-1. Like I have a GorillaPod, which I personally don't like. It's too loose, it's too like flimsy. So I'm definitely looking to upgrade there. And then for my TikTok content, I also use like a small tripod. It's not really a tripod, but it's a Hula everyday phone holder. This pretty much sticks to any surface. So that it's not necessarily a tripod. It can stick to a wall, it can stick to fridge, it can stick to a drawer, so it kind of gives like a different feel to footage, and it's not like obstructing anything. It's just literally just sticking on the wall. But outside of that guys, that's all the gear that I have. Let me know what gear you have, let me know what tools you're using to create your content, and please also remember that this video is not, you know, to say that you need all of this, because honestly a few years ago I had none of this. Just remember whatever tools you have to create content is the best, and remember that all of this stuff, even though some of it is expensive, they're all just tools that help you get to where you need to go. So whatever you have in your possession, I want to know. Let me know in the comments below. I'll check you out there. But until then guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.